This is such a cheap fragrance, and this is the one that got away. Hi, I'm Gabby, and yes, you're here for another edition of The Fragrantician, where we talk about nothing but fragrance and a bit of beauty, a bit of skincare, but mostly fragrance. So if you are an existing viewer, hello there, and if you are a new viewer, welcome. You know what to do, you know what to do. But I must apologise, and I must say that my last video, or one of my last videos that I did, I talked about 5 affordable fragrances, and when I was editing it, one completely got away, and it was none other than this Mauboussin à la folie. Yes, à la folie, madness. So I just had to do a mini quick review, so you do get the full Gapster experience that you didn't in that video. So right, so this fragrance, I have to say, is such a cheap, yeah, come on, I mean, it's inexpensive and it's cheap. It is under £25 for 100 ml here in the UK. I'll put a link down below where you can get it. So let's go through the accords. It is sweet, fruity, rose, caramel, champagne, aldehydic, but not too aldehydic, and citrus, shall we? So this is such a happy, joyous fragrance, and I wore this on Inauguration Day of Joe Biden back in January because of, it was just the notes. I thought, and I wanted something happy and joyous because it has champagne in the top. Yes, champagne and actual notes they put in there. Raspberry and rose, and in the base you've got caramel. So it's sweet, fruity, fizzy, powdery, girly. It's beautiful, and it's like sugar coated or raspberries that are dusted in icing sugar. And they're, you know, you get a flute of champagne and you've got your raspberries floating in there, and they're sweet. They're not tart. The raspberry in this isn't tart or sharp at all. It's not like that at all. And the rose just has a little bit of a backdrop in there. The rose, so if you don't like rose, you may well like this because it's not a strong rose fragrance, and it's not a green rose fragrance. You know, it's slightly powdery. And it is such a steal, it really is, and it's such a joyous, happy scent. Absolutely beautiful it is, really is. I mean, the longevity and the projection and the sillage is all moderate, so you do have to overspray with this, and you do have to reapply with this. So it's about 4 or 5 hours on the skin, but it's nice, it's inoffensive, it's not in everybody's face, but it's quite nice sillage, so some people may well smell it, you know, as you walk by. But the raspberry in this is a sweet raspberry. They've sweetened it somehow, and that probably comes from the caramel. You know, raspberries like that are just dipped in a little bit of caramel sauce and have got a bit of dusting of icing powder, and then you've got that fizziness, that contrast of that champagne, which gives it a slight fizziness and effervescent and glorious. Really glorious it is, really. Absolutely stunning. And I absolutely love it. And I think this is a fragrance you can wear all year round, even though maybe spring and summer are really good to use it. But as I say, I wore this in January, and I wore it a lot to kind of mood. It's a real mood booster, this kind of fragrance. It's quite uplifting as well. It's not too powdery, so it doesn't smell like, you know, straight up baby powder, you know, so it's not going to smell old-fashioned in that sense. It's quite, and I think the caramel is lovely in there. It's not sickly sweet, because you know me, I don't like too much of gourmand fragrances, but the caramel in this is done perfectly. It's not too saccharine sweet that's going to get your, you know, teeth on edge, that kind of thing. So that is Mauboussin à la folie. And I do apologise that I did not include that in my 5 affordable fragrances, but I will link that video down below. So if you haven't watched that, you can go and watch that. Although I was only talking about 4, not 5. So yeah, so there we go. So there we go. Mauboussin à la folie. Thank you. Thank you. You've been watching another edition of The Fragrantician. But until next time, don't just dab it on, but slap it on. Ciao for now. Ciao for now.